Did you guys know that there are more people living on Earth today than ever before? And as the world's population continues to grow exponentially, it's important that we consider how society will provide the basic essentials for everyday living. So, food, clean water, shelter, and specifically in today's world, energy has become part of the equation in obtaining these necessary basics. So energy allows trucks to transport food from one state or even one country to another. Energy allows, it fuels the equipment that's used in hospitals to save everyday lives. Energy is instrumental even just for families cooking dinner at night. Energy specifically is fundamental in sustaining a growing populace, but there are some issues that surround our conventional energy sources. And as such, there is a true need to develop renewable and sustainable energy sources. My name is Kristen, and I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the issues surrounding conventional energy method or energy sources, what renewable energy is, and specifically I'm going to talk to you guys about how it is absolutely essential for us as a society to develop renewable and sustainable energy sources in order to support a growing world population. So the major conventional energy sources that are used today are readily available, and they're oil, coal, and gas. And these conventional energy sources are also referred to as what is known as fossil fuels. So the first, or one of the main issues surrounding, at least in terms of the United States and these conventional energy sources, is the U.S. dependency on foreign oil. So you've probably heard this in the news before about how the U.S. There are some issues surrounding the cost of a barrel of oil and how it fluctuates in price, or how there's unstable relations between the U.S. and the Middle East. And a lot of these issues are surrounding upon our dependency, specifically our dependency on oil in foreign countries. So that's one problem. There's also an issue with greenhouse gases. And so fossil fuels, specifically when burned, produce a gas called carbon dioxide, which is known as a greenhouse gas. And it is the main culprit in global warming, which you've also probably heard about in the news. And so there are environmental issues that surround our conventional energy sources, and it's something that's coming up and becoming more and more prevalent. Third issue among many issues with our conventional energy sources is that it's finite in nature. So fossil fuels are called such because they were created, it's oil or fuel that, oil or coal or gas are created from fossils, and so it's not something that's easily replenished or it's not something that can be reproduced, at least at this point. So it's not considered a renewable energy source. So the problem is that it's finite in nature. So if we're using this as an energy source and it is currently readily available, it's great for us as a current generation in terms of being readily available. However, it will not be available for future generations because it is finite, and it is because eventually it will run out. So what is renewable energy? Renewable energy sources are capable of being reproduced, ideally in quantities that will meet demand. So one of the major renewable energy sources, specifically for the United States, is nuclear power. According to the Energy Information Administration, there are 60 commercially operated nuclear plants within the United States that produce 20% of all of the U.S. The United States electrical needs, which is pretty significant. But that is our primary source of renewable energies. Second, there are biofuels. And if you've heard of biodiesel fuels, or if you've heard of ethanol, for instance, when you go to the gas station, it says 10% ethanol added to your gas. That is a biofuel, which is created from living matter, and there are some issues specifically that surround biofuels, but it's something that we do use today. There's also solar power, there's wind power and wave power. All of these are considered renewable energy sources. So they're great, but one of the problems associated right now is that we don't have enough renewable energy sources that even come close to supplying or meeting our current demands for energy. Now, why it's important to develop renewable energy sources. So some of the issues that we talked about, it would cause or it would create relief from the U.S. dependency on foreign oil. There would be less of an environmental impact, at least in terms of carbon dioxide. So if you think of nuclear power, for instance, it's not producing anywhere near the amount of carbon dioxide that burning fossil fuels creates. However, there are some issues surrounding radiation, and you guys have probably heard about certain catastrophic events like Chernobyl. Not good. But in terms of global warming and greenhouse gases, all of the renewable energy sources, at least the ones that I stated, have a less of an negative environmental impact in terms of greenhouse gases. And then also, creating renewable energy sources will provide energy sources for future generations, which is great because they're going to need energy sources of their own. If you guys have any questions, you guys can feel free to visit some of the sites that I cited. So there's the globalfootprintnetwork.com, or there's EIA or energyinformationadministration.org. Thanks so much for listening.